G'day guys and welcome back to the channel. Well, guys and girls should I say. I've got an interesting one now. I know that I've done a few tests on electrolytic capacitors, and the next video on component testing after this one's going to be testing the HFE, VBE drop, maybe a couple of basic curve traces. Mainly I'm interested in HFE and breakdown voltage of all these small signal transistors that I've got from like Amazon and places like that. I want to see if they are actually, make what they claim to be in the data sheet. So that video is going to be done after this one. But I have just, as you guys know, I've just received my 2SC 5200s and my 2SA 1943s for my amp builds. I've got all the other parts as I've shown in some other videos. I have got just about parts rocking up every day for the next few days and next week or so. And I will have everything that I'm waiting to do, basically. My multimeter that I've got to fix, amp builds, just heaps of different stuff. So some of the components I've already got, and what I want to do is I want to test their quality, because I've already got, certain things like resistors, for example, I've already got, not that I really need. Well, having metal film resistors helps, not in terms of tolerance, but I can compare the inductance against these ones and see if they say higher in inductance. But the main thing I wanted to test was the tolerance of them. Are they actually the tolerance that they claim to be? So I've got this bag of 2 watt 1% metal film, and same thing here, they're just slightly different values. This starts at 1K, 10K, that sort of thing, all the way up to 820K. These start at like 1 ohm. Anyway, slightly different value ranges. Both are 2 watt metal film. We're going to do some breakdown voltage testing on these capacitors. These are all 1 kV rated. I've got some other ones that are like 3 kilovolt and 6 kilovolt and stuff like that, but I didn't get them from, let's say, dubious online sources, so I don't need to test those ones. The only components I need to test are the ones that I'm testing here, because they came from online. Again, and by the way, I've got capacitors, so we're going to do the breakdown voltage testing, but we're also going to look at the capacitance and the ESR, because I have got some, not like every value, but most of these in proper capacitors that aren't sourced from, these sorts of sources. Same with these. I've got real ones. Well, I'm not saying that these aren't. We're going to find that out to compare them against. Same with these. So that's what we're going to do. And I'm not going to go absolutely nuts on it. I mean, for the resistors, I'm not too fussed. I'm just going to basically look for, say, like a 10K resistor and just a 100K resistor, and just, we'll take something from the top end, 820K in this bag, and take, say, 47K, something from around the bottom. I'm not going to bother testing, like one from the bottom, one from a bit up, one from the middle. I'll just test a couple. I just want to see, basically, like I said, the main thing I want to check, I don't think I'm even going to bother checking them against other ones for inductance. I just want to see, are they actually the tolerance that they claim to be? Well, I think they are. So that's good. Let me just Yeah, I was going to say that was me, not the resistor. Let me just have a quick look. Looks like I've only got carbon film into what to compare against. One moment. Yeah, I don't have any 2-watt metal films. That's why I ordered a whole load of them. The ones I've got are just carbon film, so I guess I can't compare the inductance, but the tolerance is good on them, so that's good. $8.20. Let's see what the multimeter thinks of it. I'm not sure how accurate the LCR meter is at measuring resistance itself, especially up high in value. It could be the LCR meter. No, that does actually come in at 8, almost 850, 846. Let me think about this. That probably still is 1%, but hey, you know, I'm really bad at maths. I think it is. I think that is actually still within 1%. You know what? I'll grab another one that's just from like like middle of the range, and we'll see if that's sort of in between the accuracy of those two. And if it is, I'm going to say, yeah, they're all, within the 1% ballpark. Like I said, I might be good at electronics, but my maths is absolutely rubbish. So that always gets me. 200k. Let's see what these measure. I'm starting to wonder now. 200k. Let me think about that. I mean, it's an extra 10k. I'm just trying to think. Yeah, that's within 1%. Yeah. Okay, so these are 1%. All right. Well, that's good. So that as you go up, they get worse in tolerance. They're not the most high quality of 1% that I've seen, but they are 1%. So that's good news. You can buy these resistor kits off AliExpress. They're actually not fake. Let's try these ones. It's always good when things are not fake, isn't it? Isn't it sad that we have to do this even these days? Like, oh God. I will say, I ordered parts like a fair few years ago. What on earth have they tried to... Oh, 680k. I tried to order some parts a few years back online, and just about everything was fake. So I've got to say, I think they sort of have stepped their game up in terms of the online marketplace, like AliExpress, eBay and all that. Because, let's say 4 or 5 years ago when I ordered some parts, it seemed like everything was just complete rubbish. Now I've ordered a bunch of stuff and a lot of the stuff seems perfectly good. A couple of things were rubbish. So I can say it does seem like a few places are stepping their game up and actually starting to like buy new old stock or buy things in bulk and actually honestly sell them. But there's obviously still, a lot of crap out there at the same time. So, okay. Yep. Bang on. Yeah, well, you can't complain with that. You know, these ones actually seem better than the other kit. You know, it's interesting that, I will be honest, I ordered this as 5% carbon film, and this is what came. 1% metal film. And they got the brown band at the end too, so yeah, that's a bit odd. You can't complain if you get better parts than what you ordered, can you? Again, my apologies for my math, but I'd say that's within 1%. I mean, 75 is three quarters of 100, so 1% of 75 is 0.75. That's 0.32 over. So yeah, that's 1% resistor. I think I'm just going to stop testing the resistors. I guess I've only got one more to test anyway. I don't want to waste everyone's time testing dumb shit, but at the same time, I bought all this off AliExpress, and you know, I've made plenty of videos saying, hey, don't buy this stuff. And you know, I'm not just here to, what do you call it? For a better lack of word, shit talk people. I'm here to expose good and bad, you know. If I find good, I'll tell you. If I find bad, I'll tell you. 680, 6921, yeah, I'm sure that's within 1%. Alright, well, I can't complain. I have seen higher tolerance 1% resistors, but I think, you know, it depends. What a lot of companies do when they make their resistors is they sort them out into the tolerances from the manufacturing line. Some companies are just, how do I say this, nicer in terms of the fact that they just bin more for the rubbish and actually just give you closer to tolerance than what other companies give you that bin less, basically speaking. It's hard to explain, but these are 1% resistors. And I'd say they're metal film. You know what we can do quickly? Let's just take and I swear I just had the 10Ks. Or I saw them at least. Wait, is that there? No, that's 820. 820K. This is, the thing is, I need to find two of this same value if I want to compare their inductance to each other. Hey, 15K. 15K, there we go. Okay. Let's compare their inductance. Let's see if they're the same inductance. You know, on visual inspection, they're, you know, definitely made in a different factory. I don't know how clear it comes across on camera. There is slight differences in the colour, but they do both look like metal film, but you don't know what's underneath the blue paint. Oops. I'm just going to just do an auto test at 1 kilohertz, whatever figure pops up, we'll just compare the two. You know, it's either going to be the same or it's going to be different. It's not like we really need to worry about where we're testing. Maybe there's not going to be a way to get a quantifiable measurement like this. Well, actually, no, this is not going to work. Maybe if I chose a lower value of resistor. Let me just make sure it's getting a good contact. Ah. Well, let's just see if the other one behaves exactly the same as this. I mean, at least that should give us an idea. Obviously, we can't measure it like this, but you can still get an idea from things if you use your brain, you know? See, now that is actually different. Now, let's repeat it a few times just to make sure. Yeah, I'm going to say that's different. Hold up. Yeah, this one always starts around the 30s. Well, okay, it might have been just a contact issue. I think they are the same. Yeah, alright. Obviously that's not exactly a valid test, but like I said, even if something's not, I'll leave that here for now, I still need it. Even if something's not, you know, you're not doing it properly, testing something totally outside of its parameters or its use case or whatever the scenario is, you can still compare things, right? And that can still give you some insight. In this case, I wanted to see are these parts both the same part. Yes, they seem to be the same part because they both respond the same. So I'm happy. Alright, moving on. I'll just pause the camera and go get some test candidates. I don't know if these are I'm gonna have the exact same ones in here, but the thing is, these are ones that I know I've bought or pulled out of good equipment and used these and tested them, and I know that these are proper ones with good parameters. So, you know, I want to test these against them. Let's see. Might not have much luck here. Yeah, it doesn't look like I'm going to have much luck. Surely there's a 1 microfarad in here. What? Wait. There's no 1 microfarad? Yeah. Okay. 0.68, 0.56. We've got 0.56, don't we? 0.56 at 400 volts. That's at 100 volts. Well, you know what? I don't have the same ones, I don't think, to compare them against. But I'll still do some ASR ratings of a couple of them for you guys to see. So if any of you guys have your own ones and you want to compare them, at least you guys can find out, you know. I can always have a Google in my own time and look up some data sheets of some good ones I've got and compare them. So, well, not ones I've got, but, you know, from the companies I've got, and have a look at their, like these ones that they make, and yeah. So I'll still test them for you guys. I'll just take a couple. This is it's written right there, 474.47 microfarads. That was 1 kilohertz, 10 kilohertz, and 100 kilohertz, if you're wondering. I am going to say they perform good. They don't seem to be poor quality. I know my capacitors fairly well. They seem pretty good. You guys can tell me what you think, but these weren't even specified, you know, with tolerance or anything, just the voltage, and they, you know, the tolerance is good and the ASR is good. One kilohertz now. That was 120 hertz. Well, I'm happy. That's good. Like I said, I'm testing these things because I'm stocking up on all this stuff, because I'm about to use a lot of these components in my amp builds, and they're only going in my amplifiers if they test good, because I don't use rubbish components in my amps. My amps are huge, powerful amps. I'm an absolute nut when it comes to audio. Like, you know, each their own, but I'm the guy that's got 12-inch woofers with mids and tweeters, that has 1,000 watts of speakers and probably about 1,200 watts of subs and huge ported boxes, you know. I don't even run subsonic filters. You got no idea how low my sub designs hit. We'll delve into all this stuff in the future. I do so many different things. I don't have the time, obviously, to do it all every day, you know. But and that's the other thing. I sort of get in trouble from time to time, and the police come and take my audio equipment because the neighbours complain, and so I don't really pump it that much anymore like I used to when I enjoyed it a lot more. I used to get drunk sometimes and pump it for a few hours, and the cops would come and say turn it off, and let's just say I would turn it off and then turn it back on, and that would result in it getting confiscated, and a lot of equipment got damaged due to that. So yeah. Got to be careful. Right, well, oh, you know what? Those capacitors that were 400 volts, you know what I forgot to do? You're probably screaming at me through the screen going, high voltage breakdown! High voltage breakdown! Yep, you're correct. probably the most fun part. These are all 400 volts, so I'm just going to do the same thing again. It's going to pick a big one and a standard 100 nano. Let's see. Current's up as much as it can go. Why limit it? Well, when it can only put out a 5 milliamp pulse at the most, why limit it? Unless you're testing some very, very small device, you know. But anyway, this is not, for example, a small MOSFET or something like that. This is a capacitor that can handle some ripple current and 400 volts. So let's give it some. Actually, I don't trust the screen on this one bit. I'm sure everyone wants to know the actual voltage, right? I know I do. Tell you what, modifying this thing was the best thing I ever did. The battery option would have cost me $100 to $150 more depending on where I bought it. It lasts way over 7 hours and the indicator lights worked out exactly as planned. Everything's just perfect. I love it. Couldn't be happier. Anyways, let's turn the speed up again. Alright, let's go. Well, that's 10% over. I don't want to waste them all. If I turn it up until it arcs over, the capacitor's destroyed. I can't use it. But I will soak test it for you guys at 10% over. And don't worry, if the voltage drops slowly, that's the battery discharging. That's not the capacitor starting to break down. You'll know if it starts to break down, it'll drop suddenly. I'm happy. Alright, we'll do the 100 nano now. Let's just give it, eh? We'll just give it to it. Okay, I thought I could hear an oscillation sound coming from the capacitor, which could be perfectly normal because depending on how noisy the output of this is, it can cause the capacitor to resonate and just make a piezoelectric effect, which doesn't mean it's breaking down, but it also could mean it's breaking down. But no, the noise is coming out of there, so it's all good. It makes all sorts of weird noises as you turn it up and down and turn it on and off. It's a little cheap ass self-oscillating circuit in there or something. Well, I'm happy with them. I'm not going to have 440 volts on them. But that's the thing about me. When I buy my parts, I don't buy them with the thinking of, oh, it's okay because it's going in a circuit that's 63 volts a side or something like that. I buy it because I want quality. If it's supposed to handle 400 volts and it's, you know, should handle 10-20% over, I want to see it handle that. You know what I mean? That's just my personal belief. We'll go to 480. I'm happy with it. And no, that didn't discharge. For those of you, I'm not trying to be rude to the experienced people, for those that are learning, the reason the voltage discharged quickly, faster, should I say, on that is because it's a 100 nanofarad cap, not a 470 nanofarad cap, which means it holds way less. Oh no, it's 0.1 microfarad. That was 0.47 microfarad. So you can understand that's going to hold a lot more. Sorry, you just can't see what I'm pointing to. You understand it's going to hold a lot more energy than that. Alright, well, that's that. um, 100 volt, okay. Are they all 100 volts? Oh, they say 250. Yeah, 250V, 250. These are 250 volt caps. I'll test one of each color because they're obviously from different places. And I'm guessing the smaller ones are hundreds? Yeah. Okay. So 250. All right, let's go for it. I'm going to say that these capacitors are good. Yeah, this is good. All right. One oh four. Okay, this is another 250 volt one. Yeah, I'll just give it to it. It's actually, to be honest, a better way of testing it like that, because giving it a sharp pulse, especially if I say unplug it and go like that a few times, that's ramming pulses of 263 volts with the whole 5 milliamps or whatever the capacitor can store. And that's going to be more likely to arc over and destroy the capacitor, and even that's not. So yeah, that's definitely good. Well, I'm pleased about this. Very pleased. All we've got left is one box of capacitors to test. By the way, this is the 100 volt one. Something's not right here. That was weird. I think the pulses of it are oscillating with that capacitor value and it's throwing the DC detection off. Could be completely wrong there, of course. Just a guess. Yeah, I'm happy. I really don't need to test it that much more, do I? So I don't want to make these videos overly stupidly long. But I think it's good for us to go over everything and know, like what you can buy and what you can't buy, because, well, don't you want to know what you can buy and what you can't buy? I mean, it's good if you can save money buying stuff and it's not fake, that's wonderful. So, and at the same time, if something's fake, we all need to know, so that's why I'm doing these videos. Alright, I'm completely baffled. How on earth is 10,000 smaller? Wait, what? Are these in a different order? What? That makes no sense. How can... What? Alright, now I'm absolutely perplexed. These are all 1 kV, yet 6,800 picofarads is bigger physically than 10,000 picofarads. I know I don't know everything and I'm not claiming I do, but what? You've got to be shitting me. Just out of curiosity. Oh. Am I supposed to be on parallel mode for measuring really small values? I always get this mixed up. No, that's for big values, isn't it? Yeah. I'm pretty sure these things are supposed to have a really high ESR because of the voltage rating. It's got like a thick dielectric between it. I'm just guessing. I could be wrong. These aren't for my amplifier. These are just something I already had. I just thought I'd throw it into the video. Oh, voltage breakdown test. Sorry. I've got one more thing to do tonight should I say, which is clean my multimeter switches, which I'm going to do a video on that too. So I'm just trying to get through all the little things. I've got so much stuff to do. So much. Well, I'm happy. There you go, you get a voltage breakdown test on the multimeter for free too. I'm kidding. I don't want to cook the MOVs in there, or whatever's in there, if anything much. I can't remember, but I think when I had a look in there wasn't much, put it that way. I mean, they're honest, it literally does say 1000 volts max. Category 2's rating for 600 volt, Cat 1 for 1000. So, you know, they're not lying. The categories are appropriate, the voltages are appropriate. You can't get more brutal than that. I'm happy. All right. Let me just pop these back in the box quickly. Chuck this back over here. Sorry, it's a bit crowded in here. Until I rebuild this room, when I do the floor in here, I'm putting up shelving and all new desks, and it'll be nice and neat and proper in here, and I'll have way more space, like so much more space. Alright, well, I'm shocked but happy. I mean, what can I say? All of those components were sourced from AliExpress. I think actually the high voltage capacitor kit I might have gotten off Amazon. I can't remember. But either way, whether it's eBay, Amazon, AliExpress, whatever it is, they're all the same thing, right? You know, like if if it come from one, it might as well come from any of them, is what I'm trying to say. They're good. You've seen it here with your own eyes. So whilst I'll say beware of electrolytic capacitors, it looks like for now resistors and other forms of capacitors seem to be good. I've got a monolithic capacitor kit coming that I'm really interested in, because let me tell you, you go get these from JCar or order them on DigiKey or something like that, they've got insanely low ESR, good frequency response. Some of the Chinese ones test almost like just, alright, not as bad as just a normal disc ceramic, not that bad, but they certainly don't test like high quality monos. So I've ordered a monolithic kit, claims to be the 50 volt chip monos like these, like the ones I've got, which are quality, my ones. When that arrives, we're going to do an ESR test on that, because that's something I'm very, very curious about, because I use them. You know, I obviously use all the parts I get, but I use them a lot, and I mean, that's why I'm curious. I want to know if I've found a good source of monos or have I not. So that'll be coming up too. Alright, that's all for now. I'll see everyone in the next video. Take care. Yeah, see you in the next one.